And it's lights out, and away we go for one more time in 2012. Great start from Hamilton. What a start from Massa, already ahead of the two Red Bulls. Fernando Alonso goes round the outside, and Sebastian Vettel has already lost places, getting caught in no man's land on the inside. Hamilton squirms away from Massa, and Jenson Button pulled a rester, challenging Sebastian Vettel now as we ride on board down the Retroposta towards the Skido de Largo. It was a cautious start from the championship leader. It has not played out for him. Locking up and brakes, and there goes Kimi Räikkönen wide and off the track.
And was that...
it's a Red Bull! It's a Red Bull! It's Sebastian Vettel in the middle of the track! It's the worst possible scenario for Sebastian Vettel, who started on the second row and is now running right down at the bottom of the field. And once again on the opening lap in Interlagos, the championship is blown wide open. Some Button has now got back past Felipe Massa. Mark Webber's getting a great toe now. Up the main straight we go. Massa from Webber, and Webber pulls out onto the right hand side, and he might be about to make a move, and here goes Fernando Alonso down the inside, and Alonso has put himself up into the podium positions by the end of the first lap, and it is Alonso's game now in the World Championship with Vettel down. Remember, he's got to finish in the podium positions to have a chance of the World Championship, and that is not a given.
No, and if he did finish third, then Vettel only has to be 10th or better, and a big lock up there. But he's gone straight on. Alonso's gone straight on. Brake too late. Track's obviously a bit slippery. Here comes Mark Webber. So Hülkenberg is through, and Alonso really struggling, and Webber's on top of him now. Massa's right in there as well.
And he's got DRS as well. Mark Webber moves over. Felipe Massa there, making it almost three abreast going into the Skido de Largo, and Fernando Alonso just manages to stay ahead. Here now comes Fernando Alonso, who's 5 seconds behind Hülkenberg.
And Vettel then has gone over the line in 8th place. Vettel up to P8. And of course Alonso off the podium at the moment. Hülkenberg is absolutely flying. And remember, this is the track he got pole position in exactly these kind of conditions.
This is unbelievable. Kobayashi there squirming around and going off the track. Hamilton's got no grip whatsoever. Button dives down on the inside, and the lead change hands once again. It's now Button from Hamilton. Still a McLaren 1-2.
Ferrari gets and McLaren too. Hamilton's in the pits.
Hamilton, not Button, coming into the pits. No chance of the double shuffle. They were too close together.
Oh, right rears, slow on. That looks like, I suspect that was a very, very late call there. And clearly they're going to put Vettel onto the intermediates as well now.
As the pit crew gets to work, also coming in, pulls the rester into the pits. And was Sebastian Vettel in there just slightly longer than Fernando Alonso. Button, who stayed out, saying it stopped raining. That might actually have been a very good call indeed from his side of the garage.
Vettel then not 8th, he's up to 8th now. So just 2 places behind Massa. He's been warned. Massa's been blocking for Alonso, which he was pretty feisty with it. As Kobayashi goes through. There's Massa.
He's on slick.
No, he's on slicks, don't forget. He's just struggling, I think, with tyre temperature now, Felipe Massa.
Sebastian, you can pace yourself now. Pace yourself. You need to look after your tyres. Look after your tyres.
And up they go. We can ride on board with Sebastian Vettel now. Kamui Kobayashi ahead of him. Into turn 1 we go now. Does he pop himself past Kobayashi? He does pop himself past Kobayashi, so he does it again, and up into 5th place.
Jenson then getting a little bit out of shape there, and that's put Hülkenberg onto him. Might well be an easy pass down the outside. Jenson has to get brave on the brakes, chooses not to do so. Hülkenberg takes the lead.
As Lewis Hamilton then moves out and into the pit lane again, and we're waiting for Fernando Alonso, who's also coming in to get rid of his intermediate tyres.
Vettel's got to cover that. Red Bull will have to cover that.
He stayed out.
All they've got to do is the same as Ferrari do, and just follow him home, and they've got the World Championship.
Well, he stayed out on the track. Ted, down to you.
It's dry tyres for both of them. Dry tyres for Lewis Hamilton, dry tyres for Fernando Alonso.
Back up into 3rd place as out come the guys from the garage. So he stops, and this time a much easier job for the man on the front jack, who'll be nursing his war wounds for a little while and probably bracing himself as Mark Webber comes in once again as well. Now they reckon sort of a 19-second pit stop, but in the damp conditions the pit stop's taking that little bit longer as the guys approach. 22 seconds there on the clock.
There is Alonso, and the 2 Red Bulls should be coming out of the pits now. So Red Bull have absolutely covered Ferrari, and Vettel back into World Championship position.
Lap 29, we can go racing once again here in Sao Paulo. Jenson Button is probably a bit too far back to make a move into the first turn, but already behind Kobayashi has got a great start on Vettel. Mark Webber makes it 3 abreast going into the centre S's. Kobayashi on the inside, Webber's off the track. Kobayashi makes the place, and Webber loses about 4 of them into the first turn. Back on board with Sebastian Vettel. Kobayashi not great traction coming out through the curve of the Sol, but good enough, I think, to keep Sebastian Vettel at bay, who has now dropped down into 6th place. And here comes Lewis Hamilton pulling out alongside Jenson Button. Button locks up on fresher tyres, but Hamilton scoots past him as we ride on board with Sebastian Vettel, running in 6th place at the moment. His championship challenger Fernando Alonso is ahead of him. Kamui Kobayashi is the man in between. Now,
Especially in these conditions.
Felipe Massa has got DRS, but as has Sebastian Vettel, although Vettel doesn't seem to have the speed to defend himself, and Felipe Massa has now moved up into 6th place.
So Vettel a 120.7, the leaders a 118.8. Vettel's about to start to come under pressure.
Look at this, Raikkonen and Schumacher inches apart going through the centre S's. I think they might have just touched. How they didn't completely come to grief, heaven only knows, but 8 world titles between them. They're not bad drivers, really, are they? That was absolutely sensational. Ted, you're down outside Ferrari. What's going on?
The weather might intervene again because it's just started drizzling, or mizzling as you like to call it, David, again here. And I think Ferrari will be hoping that gets worse and heavier.
Nico Hülkenberg. Yeah, he's got on the white line. Not our leader anymore. There goes Lewis Hamilton. So Vettel is going to come into the pits now for a change of tyres. The medium compound tyre will be going on out on the track, and Vettel stops now for what should be his final pit stop, but who knows?
Where's that going to put him back out?
Well,
Rosberg.
he'll be behind Michael Schumacher, who's in 10th place at the moment.
Look at that, Hülkenberg right on Hamilton.
He is. Hamilton slowed by the back markers. He locks up. Hülkenberg might just go through here and back up into the lead. No, they've touched! And Hamilton and Hülkenberg come together. Damage for Hamilton and Hülkenberg. And the back markers getting in the way and seemingly ruining the afternoon for Hülkenberg and Hamilton as Button goes through.
And Alonso into World Championship, taking position then.
Unbelievable. Alonso moves up into the podium places.
We need to pull off the track, so I say pull off the track.
And Vettel goes for intermediates then. That looked a bit of a steady stop. We only picked the end of it up, but
It's a horrible stop for Sebastian Vettel. It all went wrong for Red Bull. He came into the pits, but no tyres were ready for him.
And it's probably because of the radio problems. Sebastian Vettel, we know, has had radio problems, but this is now thrown multiple cats up into a tree full of pigeons here in Interlagos. Fernando Alonso up into the podium places, but as the light, damp drizzle comes down, Alonso squirming. Oh, he's made a miraculous save to keep that car on the road.
Vettel, I believe, has come out in about 11th place. So right now, it's Alonso's got what he needs, but he's not got the right tyres.
Oh, as off goes Kobayashi. And Vettel ahead now of Kobayashi on those intermediates.
P9, that's P9 for Vettel. He's back into championship position. Alonso pits for his intermediates.
That was a very slow lap from Fernando Alonso. The Drivers' Championship is back in Sebastian Vettel's hands by just 3 points. The longer this rain comes down and the heavier that it gets, well, the more jeopardy, the more potential we have for one more championship swing here. Spray, though, is certainly getting heavier as here's Sebastian Vettel. Michael Schumacher ahead of him. There goes
Sebastian, you're the quickest car on track. Okay, Sebastian, 5 laps to go, 5 laps to go. You're a second faster than the next fastest car. There's a big gap to the car ahead. Just keep it on the black stuff.
I'm not sure he can hear that. If he can, he's ignoring it.
He tends to drive his own race, and it might be about to bring him a 3rd world title in a row. We're going to finish this championship season behind the safety car because of a crash for Paul di Resta. That will mean that Sebastian Vettel will become world champion here. As we watch the replay of di Resta, just a passenger, Martin.
Yeah, just got away from him, one of those little tiny left kinks coming up the hill.
It's almost a cruel for him, but he can see now the checkered flag, and he finishes the season on a high. Absolute despair for his McLaren teammate Lewis Hamilton, who didn't finish the race, retired after a crash when leading. Button wins, Alonso second, Massa third, and we look now for the man who's once, who's twice, and is 3 times a world champion. It is Sebastian Vettel for Red Bull. 3 constructors titles in a row, 3 drivers championships in a row. It's trebles all round for Red Bull.
You're the world champion! You're the triple world champion, Sebastian Vettel! You are the man! You're a triple world champion!
Oh my God, guys!
Dude, the radio's not working. What are you telling us? We can't hear a thing.
I love you! Yes! Yes, we did it! Let's do everything in us! So trust never give up! Be yourself! Get over this! Yes!
Yeah, I definitely got that. Definitely got that.